remember the former Asheville City Zoo? It was an interesting but cramped and gloomy collection of exotic animals held behind aging wire fences. Bunyan the zebra, Henrietta the elephant, and Duffy the chimp lived there. The smell was strong and the conservation message was hard to find. In 1973, the U.S. Department of Agriculture recommended it be closed because of the poor conditions. Today, on the same grounds, now sits the Western North Carolina Nature Center for you to enjoy. Visited by over 95,000 visitors a year, this Southern Appalachian environmental educational facility is the work, no, the gift of the Junior League of Asheville and some very generous private businesses. Many dedicated league members devoted years of their lives to create this top-notch bioregional educational facility. Jeanne Cummings, Sally Rhoades, Dershie McDeviit, Millie Elmore, Audie and Martha Gentry, along with then Zoo Director Frank Desai, and countless other league members were instrumental in building the Western North Carolina Nature Center into an education resource for the entire Western North Carolina region and undoubtedly enriching the lives of over 1 million children to date.
And in the early 1970s, the Junior League voted on a project because the zoo was so bad and we knew that we had to get rid of it. And a small project of a children's zoo and nature center. And it would teach children about our local animals and about planting a farm so that they would know that carrots didn't come in plastic bags in the grocery. And we'd have a cow and they would see the milk and then we could make butter and they would see the whole cycle. So it was really a small project and everyone was excited about it. But as we presented it to the community, people really did get excited and the project grew.
The League studied the old zoo for a year before finally committing to its transformation. In 1973, it approved building a new children's zoo complex at the site of the former zoo and donated $25,000 toward the estimated $55,000 cost of the construction. Most importantly, the League committed a group of dedicated ladies to make the change happen.
My recollection was that they came to the city. As I mentioned, I was involved with the city at that time as assistant city manager and manager. And this group was overwhelming. All the ladies didn't call on me, but I knew all the ladies. And they took such an interest in this project that if I ever wanted anything done in the city other than this, I would sure call on them or the Junior League.
The new complex was to include a petting zoo, a live display hall with aquariums, and a nocturnal exhibit. It would also be an environmental education facility dedicated to teaching exclusively about the fauna and flora of the Southern Appalachians.
I arrived in spring of 1979. I just thought it was very progressive for a city like Asheville to have a bioregional facility in 1979. And this is before bioregionalism was even a word, I think. They chose to focus on the natural environment, to teach people how to care for their environment, and I think it has really enhanced Asheville's reputation as a green city up until today, for 3 decades. We've trained a whole generation of citizens of Asheville to care about their environment, to understand their environment, and to take steps to protect their environment. All those people passing through the Nature Center, thanks to our founding mothers who have organized and got this place started back in the 1970s.
There would be highly trained volunteers, many of them league members, and high school summer interns to teach the latest known information about this special Appalachian ecosystem. The League's generous donation captured the public's imagination and became the seed of countless individual and business contributions. The project just grew and grew.
It's a good example of how not to do a project. Because what you do normally is you lay out a big plan and we're going to build this and you go raise money for it. Well, we raised a small amount of money and then they said, oh, but why don't we add this and why don't we do this? So we would keep going back and back, but we had a wonderful fundraising technique. We did have a baby lion who was born at the zoo, and her name was Pandora. She was about 3 months old. And we took Pandora to, we had many corporate headquarters then, and the banks were wonderful about giving. So we would take Pandora to, say, Square D, and just stick Pandora in the middle of the floor, and all of a sudden, all the employees were up from their desks, surrounding Pandora, and I had one man say, Jeanne, for God's sake, get in this office. I'll give you anything what you want. Just let people get back to work.
We were going only once with Pandora. I went with you one time, but what I do remember is that Pandora tinkled on Bill Cecil's rug.
She was not trained. We had a big bottle, and whenever she would misbehave, you sort of tried to shove the bottle in her mouth. But I was at Swannanoa and talking very serious money, and she was eating my shoe.
A prerequisite to the fundraising was the creation in 1974 of a nonprofit support organization for the center, now known as the Friends.
We recruited a huge volunteer corps. We had like
and mostly junior league members.
A lot of junior league members that came out and wore these little aprons, and we did the first logo, and we had the Order of the Otter that we rewarded people for their labor in the field. And we had wonderful parties to try and reward our volunteers. And we suspected some people just came and worked because they wanted to go to the parties. They were so good.
League member Mary Jane Westall instituted an annual membership drive to ensure the continued community support, and member Bonnie Spradling headed up the first of over 30 years of Heyday, the Friends annual fundraiser.
We did have the first Heyday under Mel Johnson.
And remember, we were pretty cynical about it, at least I was. I thought, Heyday, why would a bunch of people want to come out to the Nature Center and jump in hay? That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
And I was really wrong. I think was a wonderful.
It was a great, wonderful tradition that was started, and I guess it's still going on today.
The idea was, with this small project, was that we would do in-kind services. We would go to the lumber companies and say, would you give the lumber? And then to the stone people, would you do this? And then the labor unions decided, oh, they liked the publicity, so they would donate all the labor. Well, this was a grand idea. It just didn't quite work, because obviously they had jobs during the day. You can't build a nature center on weekends. So we had to go raise more money. And eventually it happened, and it's still happening. It's wonderful.
A lot of the strategizing was fun. It was just, working together and saying, well, that one didn't work. Now,
it was a great opportunity to try new things and to test waters that we never.
And we were saying too that Jeanne bore the real weight of the commitment, because you really did. Yes, you did.
We really were working so
well. We were at work, but she was the one that had put her head on the chopping block and said they were going to be doing this and that. The rest of us was saying, yeah, I'll go.
Yeah,